and welcome to the Beat Cancer Answer.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We have a quick introductory video and then we will officially get started. Let me share my other screen here.
Hello, and welcome to the Beat Cancer Answer, brought to you by BeatCancer.Org, the Center for Advancement in Cancer Education. We believe that 90% of all cancers could be eliminated through environmental and lifestyle choices alone, and science agrees. Unfortunately, most people don't know it. So we provide the education that can help you prevent, cope with, and beat cancer through diet, lifestyle, and other immune-boosting approaches. In every video, we will feature an expert who can teach us how to become part of that 90% who could prevent getting diagnosed with cancer. But if you already have cancer, we have empowering information for you too. Over the past 40+ years, our nonprofit counseling service has helped thousands of cancer patients get back into the driver's seat when it comes to their personal journey of healing cancer and preventing future recurrence. If we helped you learn just one thing today about how to prevent, cope with, or beat cancer, then we have succeeded in our mission. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We appreciate all of your feedback and love your suggestions. Your positive ratings help us to get discovered so we can help save more lives. Thank you again for joining us, and best wishes for good health from all of us at BeatCancer.Org.
All right, and that officially gets us started. Welcome everybody to the BeatCancer.Org weekly call. The date is the 13th of February of 2025, and I'm so happy to be here joined by all of you today. I'm sure we'll have a variety of friends joining us as we get started, as people are very often running a little late, but that's all right. Some quick housekeeping announcements. Remember that nothing that's said on this call is intended to be taken as explicit medical advice. We are here to talk about health information and share education and share resources, but we are not here to diagnose nor prescribe anything of anything at all. So we're here to point towards resources and speak in generalities. Of course, people are welcome to ask about things that do relate to them individually, but we are not here to develop protocols or go into specifics. For those types of questions, we do recommend getting in contact with our in-house counselor, Dr. Randy Shane, or one of our several holistic cancer coaches that we have here at Beat Cancer. So, that said, I'm going to turn it over to Carl. For those of you who haven't been here before, if you see me looking around like a crazy person, I'm just monitoring the call on all the different places where we are live streaming. We are joined not only by us participants on Zoom, but this call does go out to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, uh,
YouTube.
Rumble, YouTube. Yeah, I don't know if I said Facebook, but we'll be fielding questions from participants here who are very welcome to put comments or questions either in the chat or interject when the floor is opened. If someone is speaking for a while and you do have a comment, feel free to use the raise your hand button. If you're on a desktop, you can go to the bottom of your Zoom window and you might need to make the window larger if you have it small on your screen. And in that bottom toolbar, you should see a button that says raise hand. You'll then get a little hand icon like you see in the corner of my window, and that'll let us know that you wish to share something, and we'll be sure to call on you as soon as possible. Again, comments and questions are also welcome in the chat, whether you're in Zoom or if you're watching on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, etc. I'll be monitoring all of those and fielding questions as well. We have a couple topics to select from and dive into, just based on our own general list, but we always like to service the participants by hearing what is top of mind, top of heart for everybody here, and we address those with priority. So I'm going to toss it over to Carl while I do some live stream monitoring, and we'll get off to it.
Well, it's not anything special from Beat Cancer, but I see Dr. Gerda here, and I have never seen your face. We might have talked on the phone a time or two in the past, but my goodness, it's great to see you. And go ahead and unmute yourself so I can talk to you for just a second.
There you go.
Wow, amazing technology.
Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a while since I talked to you.
It's been a long time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you've been with us for how long do you think?
I want to say like, I don't know, 2015. maybe.
Holy moly. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit
So
later. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
we've come a long way. We're here on Zoom, which is amazing that we can all get together in the same space and share thoughts and
Yeah, it's a great transformation of the BeatCancer.Org. Yeah, definitely.
well,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things in the last 12 years, but it's on turbocharge now with Zach involved, and we just have a great community with the coaches now. So hopefully we can convince you to come to our Telegram chat for coaches only. That's a great place to be, and we have a coaches only call on Mondays at 6 o'clock, which is also a great place. We support our coaches with business development and a whole host of other things.
Yeah, I logged on to the Telegram, so I'm on there.
Oh, perfect. That's
Yep.
terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to be
So
here.
we have some other coaches. We have some other coaches on. You might want to say hello. Thank you, Dr. Gerda.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Coach Christina with us
Yeah.
tonight. Christina, would love if you would say hello to the people, introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Christina from North Carolina, and I'm a new coach with Beat Cancer. And my focus is working on women after breast cancer surgery to support lymphatic health and also to help with diet and feeling great after their journey. So thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have we have Baya that just came on and Jane, but who's is Maria and Jeanette, iPhone Jeanette, are they coaches as well?
I don't recognize the name, but I see Maria has unmuted herself. So the floor is yours, Maria. We'd love to know what brings you out tonight.
Oh, hi, everyone. I've been on the call before, not a coach, just a curious person who lives outside of Philadelphia and interested in the information that you're sharing. So thank
Yeah.
you.
You're close by then. I live outside of Philadelphia, suburb of Philadelphia in Richboro. It's near Newtown and New Hope.
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. I'm in Delaware County and Drexel Hill.
Oh, okay, nice.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Awesome, awesome. And how about iPhone Jeanette? We invite you to unmute yourself if you feel so comfortable and share with us what brings you out to the call tonight. And if not, that is okay.
Yep, it's okay. We don't mind flies on the wall. We just hope that you might join in the conversation at some point.
Awesome. In that meantime, we were joined by Jane. Jane, we're just doing very quick introductions, saying hello and who we are.
All right. Hi. I've been a Beat Cancer holistic cancer coach for what, about a month, maybe two, not sure. And I'm very excited. I have a big win. I was terrified of the Zoom connection with Wix and blah blah blah. And I practiced it with my girlfriend last night, and now I know how to do it.
Nice.
So I got rid of that fear. Done.
Excellent. That's another win.
That's
And
a big win.
Jane has also, for anybody that doesn't know, has been a long time friend of the organization, possibly from the 80s. Would that be correct?
Yes, in 1980, my husband was diagnosed with chronic myelogenous leukemia. At the time, he had 6 weeks to live, and I started with Beat Cancer right away, and with Susan Silberstein, who referred me to a doctor in Canada, Leo Roy, and he lived another year. And then in 2013, my next husband, Michael Dempsey, was diagnosed with the same rare form of disease. And I came right back to Susan and say, here I am again. And Susan and the whole team and Carl and Zach helped me. And unfortunately, Michael did die last June, but he lived many more years with quality of life with the integrated approach that we provided for him. And recently, you know, the people we worked with Marcus Institute and Beat Cancer, we're becoming linked with them. I spoke to Dr. Bazan today, and he's very excited. So,
Excellent news.
you know,
Excellent.
we're taking, for me personally, it was a matter of trying to sue the universe or saying, you know what, let me step back and turn that energy into helping people. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm having so much fun. And believe me, the biggest thing are the two sharks that we have, Carl and Zach, all the time.
Oh,
There's
my
no
God.
organization in the world that supports their people like you guys do. None.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much for
it.
being here. All right, and we'll toss it over to Maya.
Yep, just doing quick intros, Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya Simon. I'm a holistic cancer coach. I've been cancer coach since I think 2020, I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. But I was coaching people before. I have an active practice, cancer survival myself since 2016. So it's 9 years now, cancer free, had done holistically. And I would like just to bring to the table what I have learned, I have researched, I've done it myself, and help people with it.
Amazing. Thank you very much for being here, Maya. And
you.
with that, I'm going to toss it over to one of our newest cancer coach students or cancer coaches in training. And that is, of course, Janice Riggins. Janice, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and let people know a bit about you. Oh,
You're
you're
not
unmuted.
muted, but your mic is not working. Yeah, not muted, but the mic doesn't seem to be working.
That's all right. If you're on desktop, I would say go over to the bottom left of your Zoom screen. Make sure that the correct microphone is selected by clicking the little arrow that says the little arrow next to audio.
Oh, it's
Oh.
breaking up, but yeah,
We got signs of life.
Oh, signs of
Oh,
life.
there we go.
There
Yep,
it is.
perfect.
Okay. Technology, gosh.
Mhm.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janice Riggins. It's a pleasure being here. This is my first actual call, and I just joined with BeatCancer.org, and I had a lovely conversation with Zach a little over a week ago, and committed to the coaching certification program. I'm a registered nurse by training, well over 30 plus years, but I'm also a cancer thriver. Was diagnosed back in March of last year, and decided to go through the holistic route myself. And so I'm just very excited to learn from all of you here and to also share experiences as well. So thank you for having me.
Well, wonderful. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you very much for being here. And I believe everyone is accounted for. If Jeanette feels so comfortable
It looks
unmuting
like
yourself.
Dr. Gerda has something to say, maybe.
Oh,
Yep.
If you don't mind. Congratulations to the cancer victors. I was diagnosed in 2004 and went through a holistic program, and I just celebrated my 20th year in remission.
Excellent. Congratulations.
So you guys are going to get there as well.
amazing.
Can't be done. Thank you for being a voice of hope and encouragement. That's awesome.
That is what it is all about. And that means everyone is accounted for. Jeanette, if you do so feel called to unmute yourself at any point, you are welcome to make an introduction. If not, you are totally okay where you are and listening in. Dave Frank, for anyone that doesn't know, is my father. He likes to just listen in as well. And so with that, let's get off to some information and some topics and some
We did
questions.
have one extra person join in. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Annette, we are just doing some brief introductions of who we are and why we're here.
And Annette is still getting used to her Mac, so it's going crazy in and out focus.
Thanks. Well, hopefully that'll just stay where it's at now. So I'm Marinette Smith. I am living in the state of Michigan. I'm actually from Wyoming originally. I had been a nurse for 8 years. And I had cancer almost 10 years ago, colon cancer that I had survived. And while I was going through my treatments and going through that whole journey, I realized that there was a need for holistic care. And then even working as a nurse, I saw that there was a need for it then too, that there was a gap in. and care for patients, cancer patients, and then information that they're getting and that's available to them. And so I just started doing some deep searching and trying to find an organization just like this one, to be able to help get that word spread about the benefits, of holistic living that are out there for cancer patients and other people as well. So I am just starting out, so I'm still kind of a newbie at this part of things. So I'm still enjoying learning and getting to know everyone and this an ounce of holistic cancer care, and yeah, just getting to know everyone and learning and learning. So
Wonderful. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
being
you.
here. So with that, we have some comments already rolling in from our friends on Facebook. First one being, hi, my mom has advanced breast cancer that's gone to nodes and metastasis to pelvis. Can you give me any ideas, please? Thank you. So in case you didn't catch the disclaimer at the beginning, this is it's of course a sensitive matter, and we don't diagnose nor prescribe any particular protocols on these calls. But I will open that up to the coaches if they have anything that they'd like to share on that on that subject. And I would encourage you to get in touch with our in-house counselor or one of the coaches that are on this call for follow-up consultation and a more in-depth analysis of what is going on if you feel so called to. So I'll open the floor to the coaches. Again, this is advanced breast cancer that's gone to the nodes and metastasis. I always struggle with that word, to the pelvis.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, to the pelvis. So if
Yes.
there's any thoughts on that in
I just
general.
wanted to add to what you were saying. All the coaches on the call. It's they understand that to work with anybody, they need to do a deep intake process with them to answer these types of questions in depth. But there might be some comments to make without taking them as advice.
Yeah, and no pressure over to the coaches because, of course, we always operate with integrity, and we don't want to start giving brief information, unless there's, a reason to. So I'll just open it if there is any thoughts, but no pressure. I'm not seeing any takers, and that is okay because
Yep.
this is
Yep.
not the
Yep.
venue. Yep, everyone is a professional here, and this is, of course, not the venue for in-depth things. So, my friend from Facebook, I'll keep you anonymous, but do feel free to get in touch with us at support@BeatCancer.org if you're looking to get pointed towards someone that can specifically answer your circumstances in a more appropriate venue.
Zach, I could just
ahead.
put in something briefly so the people won't feel that we're abandoning them, not
Yeah.
answering their question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when it comes to cancer, even though it's metastasized to different organs in different parts of the body, that means it's end of the journey. That's one thing I want to say. There's a lot of things out there. It's still could be approached in a holistic way. And for us to give anything particular or anything specific, of course, we have to work with someone because we don't know what the client is on, what kind of lifestyle or what they do. But just keep it on the basic level. Eliminating carbohydrates would be probably to start up with, not to feed cancer cells, learning how to fast, learning how to sleep on time, and keeping toxic environments, like cleaning up around the house, cleaning up the toxin-free house, food. Now, what else? I mean, there's so much you can bring into the table. It's so hard to point out to only one specific thing that you can eliminate from your life and hope like a cancer is gonna go away. So it's definitely would be wise to at least consult with someone to put you on the right path instead of grabbing the things on social media and trying to implement them, because there's a lot of misguided information online. That's what I could say.
Even the things that do work and they could pick up online, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the correct thing for them.
Right, right.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
the consultation is what's necessary for sure.
Yeah, everything matters when it comes to cancer. So we have to learn about clients before we give any specific information to the client.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know that that can be frustrating for patients that do show up to these calls and want to learn more. But remember, this is a public arena, and this is to really give specific advice or information on a circumstance does require a very thorough intake process in order to be addressed appropriately.
Right. And
Yeah.
one more thing, whatever you do your research before you jump into any conclusion and try to grab any information. What's online is available. And as I said before, stage 4, that doesn't mean, it's done. There's nothing could be done. There's still a lot of things could be done on that part.
Yep.
We've seen it. We've seen it at BeatCancer.
Yeah.
I think Jane, if you have something to add to this real quick before we go to the next topic.
Yes, I just like to say that in addition to everything that Maya said, and I always admire Maya and her experiences, that when we try to help anyone, there is such a broad areas of how we will help. And it doesn't mean that the cancer will be gone, who knows? But it is a direction that has hope in it. And maybe we can help you to pick physicians that maybe in addition to the physicians that you have according to your choices. But it's extremely important not to pick something on the internet and start taking it without telling your physician. That's the most important thing, because we don't know if something is contraindicated, and the physician has to be aware of it. But, as many parts as you are as a person is how we will address it, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, thought process. If you go with a different thought that, what, I have hope, that already opens up a whole new world. And we're here for you.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Susan always used to mention. If she had the top 5 killers, despair was one of the 5.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Mindset is a huge thing. Okay, Zach, sorry, handing it off to you again.
No apologies necessary. The next comment that came in is again talking about someone's particular circumstance, but it was on the topic of sarcoma. So again, without being redundant, if anyone has any thoughts on sarcoma, particularly that are just general thoughts, I'll open the floor. Otherwise, we will promptly move on. All right, we will move on. All right, so that's it for the Facebook comments for now. We do welcome them to keep coming in. I'm scrolling through some of the comments that we had come in throughout the week, and they are more specific circumstances. Let's see.
While you're looking at, can I say anything about sarcoma or not?
Oh yeah, please do,
Yeah.
please do.
Well, when it comes to cancer basically have same structure. It's just it depends on the area where it grows in the muscles or soft tissues or any other spots it gets its name from, or blood cancer. Understanding like when body grows any kind of condition, disease, cancer, that's mean it's off balance. So whether it's sarcoma or lymphoma or whatever, you have to address first of all, like what are you doing to bring that your body came to that stage that start creating cancer? What were you doing? What were you exposed to? What were your lifestyle? What were your diet and everything? And start and focusing on changing that, because cancer is basically a sign to make some changes in your life. It's not here to kill you. It's here to awaken you and start thinking that there's something is wrong in your body, in your life that you have to change. So that's what I would say about it.
Thank you very much for that
Yeah.
addition. This is a pretty interesting one. It's how can one diet to avoid cancer, and how can one diet to beat cancer, especially with the kind of food in Africa? And why do we use the word beat cancer and not cure cancer? So two very fascinating questions. I don't think any of us here on the call are located in Africa, but let's talk about the diet one first.
I
And
can speak to the cure answer or the cure question. We don't say
um,
cure
Yeah,
because
we don't say,
we would be sued for that in short order.
That's I think FDA owns that,
Yeah,
or pharmaceutical company owns that word
yeah, they
here.
own that.
So
It's like
they
it's like
own that, so
trademarked
we
or
can,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a trademark. We cannot say that.
yeah, but what we can do is help you get your body into the best possible state for healing.
Yeah,
That's where we want to come from.
right. I would say it doesn't matter in what part of the world we are. The most important to understand human biology and human physiology. I think everywhere is the same way. It's the same way that our body processes like glucose or lipids or whatever. Everyone's body is the same. We might be genetically predisposed differently, but mechanism of human body is the same everywhere. So just knowing that, people would have to understand what's the best food is appropriate for human diet to eat, and particular for your location, some little genetic predisposition because that's what your body is adapted to. And when it comes to that, I think it was a diet, right? Question?
That's diet in
Yeah,
Africa.
diet. Yeah. So just understanding what your ancestral diet was, and I would say going back to your ancestral lifestyle would be the best instead of focusing on something what getting produced nowadays. To kind of keep close to your adaptive genes in the area. That's what I would say,
Yep. And to add to that, you said ancestral, which is the whole Nicholas Gonzalez organization foundation. They focus on your ancestry and what part of the world you came from. But what you didn't say was what your family is doing, because what seems to be
Yeah.
happening is people are learning how to live, how to eat, how to deal with stress from their immediate family. And that could be, and the fact that I don't know what food's like in Africa, but in America, it's highly processed and heavily laden with poisonous chemicals from pesticides and all that kind of stuff. So if you have the option of organics in Africa, that would be a good place to go, and cut out all the processed stuff. If that's the food that you're eating now, get back to the basics.
Yeah, people have to understand one thing, like whatever has been getting produced past, I would say 50 years aggressively, which is processed food. Our body, our genes, I mean, we can eat it, but that doesn't mean our genes can adapt to it so fast. What our gene knows, like what we did before, what our ancestors did, that's what our body's familiar with. So by putting yourself back in that place where you go to the basics, to the clean food, to a few foods, seasonal food, that would be probably the answer to that.
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Any other participants have thoughts on that subject matter before we move on to the next? Oh, I saw some hands. I believe I saw Christina first.
Yeah. So I just want to mention when I'm cooking and I'm trying to be as healthy as I can, I always ask myself, is this something my great grandparents would have eaten? Because, my great grandparents, they didn't have all those processed foods. It was all fresh. So that's kind of like my rule of thumb now is this what my great grandparents would have eaten? And if it's not, if it's a boxed food, I don't get it. So I don't know. To me, that's very simple. And that will help, like what Maya was saying, keeping to what your your family in the past ate. So anyway, that's a little bit of information I thought that would be helpful.
Yep. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I believe I saw a hand from Jane as well.
Yes, I think one of the basic premises that we offer is the concept that food as medicine. What we put in our bodies are going to reflect what comes out. So it's important to look at food differently, not just something that we put on our in our bodies to satisfy a hunger, but that we put in our bodies purposely to make our bodies grow as best they can and to heal as best they can. And there are different thoughts on different kinds. My doctor, who is very strong about plant-based, and another doctor may have a different point of view. But it's important to investigate and to hear what their different points of view are and make choices on your own, but also to have professionals like an integrative medicine doctor or a naturopath that can talk in those terms, because the regular allopathic doctor will talk more about symptoms than when they will about food. So that's just something to think about.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
And it looks like Dr. Greta had her hand up.
Yep, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, food and nutrition is kind of like half the issue. The other side of the coin is, let's make nutrition nutritious. And that depends on how the body breaks it down and absorbs it. So I would also say, as we look at nutrition, let's look at the health of the microbiome in your digestive system, because if that's not in sync, then we can eat all the great food that we have and it doesn't really become nutritious because we can't absorb it.
Yep. Excellent point.
Just to add to that, I mean, that's a perfect point. There's a great YouTube talking about microbiomes by Erica Sonnenberg that's available on YouTube, and that might be something that anybody could watch, including this person. But that's microbiomes is a really good point.
Jane, if you could just put that name in the
Sure.
chat, that'd be great.
Sure.
Yeah, Janice, was it? Janice?
No, I was just applauding about the microbiome.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a handful of gestures. There's hearts and claps and
Yeah, I just saw a hand up.
Yeah.
It looked like it was looked like
Awesome. All right, we have a very interesting question here, one that I believe there'll be some thoughts on. Someone on Facebook has asked, I have heard that radiation is bad for cancer patients. What does the panel believe? Hot topic.
It's bad for everybody.
Yeah, enough enough of it will do do you in, and it's so this kind of brings up an overall philosophy of allopathic cancer care in quotes or treatment in quotes versus having a holistic approach such as that we have at BeatCancer, in that a lot of these treatments that you might receive in a conventional facility are attacking at the tumor. They're attacking at it with radiation. They're attacking at it with chemicals, chemotherapy, etc. And then, that tumor, what we're calling cancer, etc., is within a whole body. And that whole body is very susceptible to the same attacks like these cancer cells are as well. So, is radiation bad for cancer patients? I mean, is it damaging?
Become part of.
Certainly. But yeah, I'll open it up to the floor.
Well, radiation, I mean, it depends. Maybe there are obviously moments when people have to have it.
Yeah.
It depends on the stage and the condition. Is it damaging? Of course, it's damaging, I would say, because it cooks your your cells. It basically cooks your cells. Based on Professor Thomas Seyfried, he stated that the radiation byproduct is fermented glutamine. And fermented glutamine, especially when it comes to brain tumors, fermented glutamine is something that actually creates a perfect environment for cancer to multiply and to grow. So people have to get a knowledge. They have to understand entire process before they're making a decision, agreeing to go with radiation or not to go with radiation. So it kind of does its work. It would shrink and destroy cancer cells, but at the same time, it releases byproduct that would make the cancer grow. So.
Yeah.
And I think another good thing to remember too is the more radiation you're exposed to too, I mean, it's just going to continue to build up. So you are being exposed to that, getting radiation treatments, you're getting exposed to those rays. And so that is going to continue to build up too in your system.
Right. Scar
Right.
tissues down the road could cause problems.
Right, it's cumulative. Even people that work around like the TSA, they have to wear a little badge or a monitor that shows how long they've been in proximity, or it builds up. And there's a time when they're like, "You're done. That's it. You can't be in this position anymore." Christina.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to speak on radiation. I see many clients after their breast cancer surgeries, right? And so for many women, that includes radiation. So after seeing how the body responds to radiation, it changes the tissue. It makes your tissue harder and tighter. So, and that lasts for 10 years. So just that is a huge impact. Also, it may affect lymph nodes if it's in the area. So that's another thing to think about. And also it does affect, or it can affect bone health, making bones more susceptible to breaking. So radiation definitely is something that if it is suggested to you, to really look into it and see if it's absolutely necessary. I know a lot of doctors will use it to clean up the area. And so I'm not sure, in everybody's situation, it's always different, but I always feel if it's an option, if it was my choice, I would go to the more conservative side because the effect of radiation lasts for a very long time. So that's my radiation story.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right. Any additional thoughts on the topic? I see a hand from Jane.
Oh, you're on mute.
I think part of our goal is to show the person that they have options. And for anyone who has cancer to look at those options and to make a decision. And there's no right or wrong way to go. It's up to the individual. And we're here to show you that you do have options. But we can't say which is absolutely right or absolutely wrong. That's the
Exactly.
thought process that
And that's where, language comes into play. So in the initial question, is radiation bad? Well, there's a scale and there's perspectives, right? It is a
Right.
tool. It is a powerful tool. It can be used in a good way and had success with, especially when coupled with other things. But it does have a damaging effect in other ways, but maybe sometimes those other ways are worth it. And it is a tool to consider. So we're not here to say it is good or bad. We're just here to talk about it in a holistic way. So thank you very much for the question. There's a similar follow-up question. Oh, okay. So this is a good one. So we could say radiation, 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 but what even really is radiation? So someone's saying, is radiation the same as like a CT scan or an MRI scan or a PET scan? And so like how does radiation treatment, I guess, compare to those is maybe the question. And if you're still watching, you can clarify in the comment section. But so I guess they're asking, are those scans, do those scans contain radiation similar to cancer treatment radiation? Any thoughts?
Well, some of the worst radiation, from what I understand, is the kind you get when you go into the airport and go through their scanner. It's apparently it's some sort of scatter radiation, and it's just really kind of unfocused and the worst kind you can get. But you can get it from there. You can get it from your dentist, right? When you get your teeth x-rayed, there's a lot of places you're getting it. So, but I think the question is it the same as the treatment type of radiation, the same as CT scans, PET scans, and MRIs? So we'll open it up. Anybody? Dr. Gertie, you look like you have something to say. Nope.
So I think you can think of it like you did say there, Carl, that it is a type of radiation. So when you're getting a radiation treatment, they're using, a lot of times you might actually hear of people getting like a tattoo on the area that they're going to use radiation, or there's going to be a seed that's placed in certain areas too in the body, where somebody might actually get radiation. And that is to actually help focus that radiation to those specific areas. Now they try to get as close to the area that they're trying to treat with the radiation, but that also means that the good cells in the body are also being damaged. So again, it is the same type of like radiation to radiation, but like you're saying with the TSA x-rays and stuff, it's more scattered. So this one is more it's just focused. It's focused, and there's different types of rays that are used and stuff too, but the concept is that the radiation just gets to where the cancer is at, where they're trying to treat it at. But again, it can get to those good cells too, so it also kills the good ones, but it does try to be as focused, I guess, as it can be in that science.
Well, when it comes to CAT scans or MRIs or PET scans, they sometimes use solutions like ionized, like radioactive solutions, or and those scans themselves are, I mean, the radiation is the radiation, but it just the strength probably of radiation is different. The radiation they use, radiotherapy, probably way more strong, the stronger form of therapy than the CT or MRI scans. And if they have a solution, radioactive solution, that's additional to that. So that's what the difference, I would say, to the radiation therapies. Of course, the therapy is stronger than CT and, MRI or PET scans. Those are the ones you can detox from the body, but radiation that comes, the targeted radiation therapy, that's a harsh one.
Got it. So they did clarify and said that their question was, are the scans bad? Again, bad is a very vague word.
Yeah.
Do they have radiation effect? Yes.
Yes, they
But
do.
does
Yeah.
that mean that they are a tool to completely avoid? Not necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, they can they can avoid, for example, solutions and just have a plain scan that would lower the exposure to the radiation. But other than that, no. Otherwise, how would you know if what you have internally? Like if you have, I I would say not to have them quite often, spread them out a little more, but they do have, of course, the toxicity to the body. But those radiation, at least you can detox.
Yeah, and that's a very important point because I feel like there are people that get scans for the sake of it because it makes them feel good to get a scan every 2 weeks and scan.
Yeah.
You know, getting an isolated scan to understand what you're working with is different than getting constant scans more than necessary. So yeah, I mean, can they be worthwhile to do in certain ways? Yeah, but it's probably not wise to do them more often than is necessary either. My personal thoughts on it.
This also
Yeah.
brings up the conversation of mammograms versus thermograms, and
Yeah.
and over the course of the years, they've widened the age range both to younger women and even going older women than they used to target for mammograms. They've expanded that age greatly, so that over the course of time, each year getting mammograms, that's cumulative as well. But I'll open that up to the to coaches, mammograms versus thermograms and mammograms in general.
Yeah, mammograms are very useless, I would say, at this point. Like after I've done so much research on it, it does radiates the body, particularly around the breast, and some statistics have been showing that the people who get exposed to mammogram, they develop cancer faster than people who weren't exposed to mammograms. So it's better to have an ultrasound, or even better to have a thermography than ultrasound. So ultrasound has its own level of radiation also. So I would say thermography probably would be the best choice to have to check the breast on.
That's really not that expensive these days. I would say that's only a couple $100 now to get mammograms. It looks like Janice had something to say. You're unmuted.
Actually, I was just gonna exactly what Maya said is just the the thermography is certainly the way to go. Ultrasound, which it doesn't make sense that typically when you have a mammogram, if something comes up suspicious, then they do the ultrasound, but the ultrasound is less, troublesome when it comes to how much radiation you're receiving. So it's kind of backwards, but unfortunately that is how they have their standard of care, which if you had a choice, I would certainly say ultrasound first before mammogram.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a scary thing, especially since they broadened the age scope. So they just increased the amount of years greatly that people are subjecting themselves to this. So that was my concern.
Yeah. Plus, it's a horrible thing to press women's breast, to flatten them up. It's such a horrible thing. It's so painful.
I'll never experience it, but that's what I hear.
Yeah, I know. And it damages the probably tissue by putting so much pressure on it. It damages the tissue, that another trigger for developing cancer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Quite a barbaric example of so-called modern healthcare. Next topic, everyone's favorite topic these days. Firstly, they said thank you. This is one of our question askers from before. They said thank you for your input. And is ivermectin and fenbendazole good for cancer patients, or is it all a myth what they're hearing online about them? Very popular topic. We've covered it a handful of times, but we can touch on it for some time. What's up, Jane?
That ivermectin is a choice, and my husband was on it, and it helped him not to go from the chronic state to the acute state. However, when Michael got it, it was prescribed by an MD who is board certified in integrative medicine and oncology. I think there's a danger in just deciding to take something without discussing it with the physicians. And I'm finding more and more that physicians are open to alternatives. But I think it could be dangerous to just use it without knowing how it could be contraindicated with other things. So it has to be within the team. Hopefully someone has cancer, has a whole team. And you have a right to say, you know, I want to handle this in the way of an integrative medicine, not just allopathic. Allopathic is just the regular treating of symptoms. And as long as you tell that to doctors, they are open. In our case, our integrative medicine doctor discussed it with our regular hematologist, and they were able to come to an agreement. And, you know, we knew there would not be contraindications. So that's my feeling of it.
There's always a place for, I mean, there's a place for them, definitely. Unfortunately, like Jane said, that you're probably, in your case, your husband was lucky to find your, allopathic physician who agreed with holistic doctor, but in a lot of doctors do refuse that. I would say for people to find a physician who can they work with. In that part, they definitely have a space when it comes to cancer, a place when it comes to cancer. It all depends on the body's weight and the dosaging, on how much you have to take. Don't just go out there and grab whatever you hear and take it, because they might affect like liver enzymes and, again, like Jane said, contraindicate with other medications and other things. It's very important to talk to a doctor that you can work with, not to do on your own, definitely. And if your allopathic doctor does not agree with that, I would not stop right there. Personally, I would go more further until I find someone who can work with me on that part. Like if I would have a cancer, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And, you know, we at BeatCancer, of course, would never recommend someone to just completely defy the doctor that they are working with. It's advisable to find a different one if yours isn't to your liking. Remember that they work for you. You're not just their subject. They're supposed to be working for you. And this is your experience. This is your body. This is your life. But we would be lying if we said that people don't come to us occasionally and tell us that they had to do what they had to do and they were working with their doctor and their doctor wasn't working with them, and they went and did things on their own. And whatever someone's going to do, again, we're not advising to do that. Just be as informed as you can possibly be. Try to surround yourself with the most amount of resources and teammates to have whatever you're putting together for yourself be as successful as possible. Yeah.
Zach, I was just going to add, I've had personal experience with using that combination. My physician actually put me on that a year ago. So I've been taking both ivermectin and fenbendazole. And to Maya's point, it's important for your care team to be involved, because you do have to have the lab work drawn to monitor your liver enzymes and things. And so, through my course of just research and working with my team of physicians, antiparasitics are so important because parasites tend to cause cancer, and that tends to also create a lot of issues within the microbiome. And so I think understanding that it's not just the cure, if you will, but it's just another adjunct to other treatments that the body needs to heal.
Absolutely.
Parasite per se does not directly cause cancer. They create the environment for cancer to grow. Because a lot of people misunderstanding that the parasite are cancer.
It's the microbiome.
It's a microbiome of the cancer cell, or the microbiome of the cell itself. And the same thing as sugar. Sugar does not directly cause cancer. It creates the environment for cancer to grow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And feeds it for sure. Yeah.
It feeds it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I don't see any other questions coming in on social media. I'm going to be looking around, but in the meantime,
We're
the
coming
floor
up
is
on the
open.
top of the hour, and before we go, I'd like to share something really quick. I'll share my screen.
Yep.
And this is a PDF that's available to anybody that's watching this now or in the future. It's a little guide, the importance of a holistic cancer coach on the cancer support team. And it's just a quick ebook download, and you can get it from us by contacting us at support@BeatCancer.org, and we'll send you that free ebook. And any of the coaches that want it online here, I'll just pop it in the chat.
Absolutely. So other than that, I'll do some closing announcements. As a reminder for anyone, oh, we got one last question that we'll cover quickly if we have time. So if it is the microbiome, then what about methylene blue for your mitochondria? Is the question.
Methylene blue actually very good for radiation exposure. That's a good one. Again, there's a buzz about methylene blue. You have to understand, is that the right fit for you or not? Just because it's out there and it's like a trending right now, that doesn't mean everyone has to take it. You have to learn why you're taking that. Yes, it does show a great effect on the mitochondria, energy cell, and producing the energy. But it does actually. There's some observations are coming. I wouldn't say studies, but some observations are coming effective on ovarian cancer and breast cancer and a brain cancer, and using methylene blue. But again, this is something that you have to work with the doctor, because I would say this would be probably more of an IV infusions than just taking internally like that at different doses. I know a lot of people take it when they fly, not to get exposed to radiation in high altitude because the oxygen level drops, so they use it to bring the energy of the mitochondria to a good level.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. We've talked about it a few times here, and it's pretty interesting. That said, thank you all for your questions and your participation. I will give a reminder for anyone that's watching with us now or catching the replay that we are live on these calls every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do wish to join us on the Zoom itself, find your way over to BeatCancer.org and use the weekly call button found right here, and that'll allow you to join Zoom when it's time. If you have a subject matter that you'd like to see covered ahead of time, you can use the topic submission form. Please limit them to more general questions for specific circumstances. You can get in contact with a coach or our counselor, and I'll show you where to do that. You can catch the replays of these streams here at the bottom. The entire playlist of since we've been live streaming them is available right here for you. That's where you find the weekly call. If you're interested in working with a holistic cancer coach, whether it's one of the ones that you found on this call or otherwise, you can hit the Find a Holistic Cancer Coach button and be sure to sort through them. If you're interested in becoming a holistic cancer coach yourself and starting a heart-centered entrepreneurial endeavor in helping others that have cancer, or if you're looking to better be able to coach yourself or your loved ones, or in general, you just want to continue to learn and join our community, you can use the Become a Holistic Cancer Coach button. And if you are looking for counseling from our in-house counselor, that can be found at the Holistic Cancer Counseling button, and the information can be found there and how to make use of that resource. Any last minute reminders, Carl?
Just if you don't know who we are, we're almost 50-year-old now, 48 years old nonprofit. So we do this from the heart. It's all about helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, You can connect with us on social media. Our social media pages are also on that homepage. If you scroll down, click on your favorite and give us a like, a follow, subscribe, engage with us there, send the content to your friends. It helps us get the word out about what we do. And I believe that's all for tonight. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you,
you.
coaches. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.